Good afternoon, everyone. Let's start with the chapter by Bourdieu, Structures and Habitus. In the first paragraph, Bourdieu tries to explain the point of view of objectivism, and he means by objectivism a way through which an observer is about to take a point of view on the action which is separate from the object, and then how does it turn into a knowledge. So you are taking a point of view on an action and you put this relation into a knowledge, and he says this point of view is taken from certain positions in the social structure, and then the social world is seen as a representation or a performance, and practices are seen as the acting out of roles. So he says methodological objectivism, a necessary moment in all research, is by break with the primary experience and then construction of objective relations which it accomplishes and demands its own suppression, which means methodological objectivism needs to further be balanced by another some methodological exercise. How does it do? He says we need to understand why and why social sciences have been focusing on experiences, why there is a focus on identifying objective relations, and how does it happen when objective relations are identified beyond the scope of individual history and group. And that is when he says we need to move beyond this objectivism, which means some broad vague statistical data and relations which and the statistics about how society functions, and we need to move towards how people act. So going beyond objectivism to understand the logic of practice. And that's why he says that the theory of practice helps us in understanding that objects of knowledge are constructed first, and then the principle of this construction is the system of structured dispositions, right? That's where he brings in the concept of habitus. So Bourdieu says that it's possible to back down from this objective viewpoint without having to abandon the active aspect of the world. So this can be done by an individual's active presence in the world and through experiences of being both inside and outside of this experience. And he says that one need to escape from the realism of the structure where objectivism is treated as realities that pre-exist the subjectivism. So to avoid the trap of either objectivism and subjectivism, Bourdieu says that one has to return to practice where there is a dialectical relation between what he calls opus operatum, right? So he says that we need to move from opus operatum to modus operandi. Now what is opus operatum? The effect in the practice, the result in the practice, to modus operandi, which means modes of practice, how something happens then what is actually happened earlier. So he focuses us to the attention to understand the modes of practice of how human beings and individuals work. So his attempt is to provide this dialectical relationship between structures and habitus. Bourdieu says that those who seek to modify the structuralist model by identifying context or situation to show that there are variations, there are exceptions, there are accidents which bypass the focus of objective thought, and the caution should be made that they do not fall back into the free choice kind of approach, that subject acts out of its will. There is no context, there is no subject objective structure available, there are no conditions which force this individual to take certain positions or understand the way it is, and they do not shape it. Yes, he recognizes that individuals have certain degree of liberty to make their choices within social situations, but they only make their decisions within the limits defined and given by social structure, and that is why they are stuck within the framework of the rule. So that's why he comes up to the discussion on habitus. And when he says that the theory of the mode of generation of practices, which is the precondition for establishing an experimental science of the dialectics of internalization of externality, which means to internalize what is there in external condition, this is habitus. right? Habitus receiving the things from the field, and then externalization of internality. Now, through habitus, people act, and through these practices, field dynamics or dimensions are shaped. Now, this is externalization of internality. So, what you have internalized, your predispositions, your thought processes, the way you act, the way you practice certain things, it becomes part of the structure and field. So, it shapes the dynamics of the field. So, this is his model, that we need to provide this synthesis through which either the objectivism or the uh, objectivism both are brought together instead of uh, putting the weight on the either of the side. Now that's why he says there is a false dilemma of mechanism and finalism. He says that there are certain structures which constitute a particular type of social condition, whether it is a material condition of class or gendered conditions of identity, or in Indian case about caste structure or religious structures. So he says that this structure shapes the way people receive this world into their mental categories. So this is called habitus. Habitus is a system through which dispositions are formed, and these are durable, which means they remain there for a certain period of time. For example, your ways of learning that you have learned from your childhood continues till today. There are here and there modifications, improvisations, but more or less it continues. So then these learned dispositions, which is the part of habitus, they further generates actions. So the habitus then becomes a principle of generation of practice. So it learned from the field and it generates certain actions which again become regularized, objective, and part of the system, and they motivate or not motivate, they kind of condition the individual's response to certain situations, and kind of shaping their notions. So what should they do, what they shouldn't do, what is preferable, what is avoidable, what is their objective, what is their goal, without any conscious aiming, without them being conscious about that this is what my purpose is. Now this is very crucial because this discussion is happening in the backdrop of what you can recall from your discussions on Weber and Durkheim. So on the one hand, Weber was talking about individual Verstehen, subjective meaning of the actor, and on the other hand, Durkheim was talking about that there are objective conditions, collective consciousness, which shape individuals' thinking, acting, behaving. Right? That's what his concept of social fact is. So he says that we always work through this concept of social fact, and Bourdieu says both of them happen. Both of this happens together, except the fact that the individual is conscious about what is. It's like consciously doing certain things. So, for example, he says that there is a class condition through which one person is defining one's goal in the life. So you came from urban context, you came from a city, or you came from a village or town, and then you are defining certain things as desirable because of your family conditions, your socialization of your parents, because of your language, because of your neighborhood, the kind of childhood experiences, your financial conditions of the family. All that will shape what you will be doing in your education or after your education. So Bourdieu is saying this is not a conscious thing that individual has decided. It is a practice generated by the habitus of the individual, which has learned it from field. So field has shaped the dynamics of the field habitus, and that's how the everyday activities and interactions, the micro sociological aspects that we constantly be part of. There is a dialectical relationship between structure and field here, structure and habitus here. So then Bourdieu talks about what he means by habitus. He defines habitus in the second paragraph, that habitus is a systems of durable transposable dispositions which are structured structures predisposed to function as structuring structures. So these are structures which are shaped by the field, but these are also structures which shape the field. And that is the sense of the structured structures and structuring structures. And then he says that it might appear to some people that there is a conscious aiming of things and there is a conscious planning of certain things. But Bourdieu says these are the ways through which habitus produce a certain kind of understandings that it appears to us that this is what we are doing. So he says that the practice is produced by the habitus as the strategy generating principle, enabling agents to cope with the unforeseen and ever-changing situations, are only apparently determined by the future. Now he says that these practices through which individuals cope in a given situation, this is also produced by habitus. So that's a part of our learning. We know if things do not go well according to our plan, how do we respond to it. This is also learned by the habitus, and this always happens in the case of not being able to anticipate what is coming in the future. So he says that if they seem determined by the anticipation of their own consequences, thereby encouraging the finalist illusion, the fact is that always tending to reproduce an objective structures of which they are product, they are determined by the past conditions which have produced their principle of their production. So he is trying to open up both the extreme ends. That's what he calls mechanism and finalism. He says that on the one hand, people will say that there is only things are only determined by individual actor on one's own, out of one's own will, intention, and consciousness. On the other hand, there are people who will say that objective structures inevitably reproduce themselves without any conscious or any interference by the individual actor. So Bourdieu disagrees with both the hypotheses. So he gives an example. He says in the interaction between two agents or group of agents endowed with the same habitus, let's say A and B, everything takes place as if the actions of each of them, say A1 for A and B1 for B, were organized in relation to the reactions they call forth from any agent possessing the same habitus, so that they objectively imply anticipation of the reaction with these reactions in turn called forth. But the teleological descriptions according to which each of these actions has the purpose of making possible the reaction to the reaction it arouses in order to make or is quite as naive as the mechanistic description which presents the action and the reposite as moments in a sequence of programmed action produced by mechanical apparatus. Thus, the habitus is the source of these series of moves which are objectively organized as strategies without being the product of a genuine strategic intention, which would presuppose at least that they are perceived as one strategy among other possible strategies. So Bourdieu is saying that if you are responding to a given situation in a certain sense, it is not that because of your because there is a conscious attempt on the part of individual to respond in certain sense. He says these relations, the responses are also located objectively in the field, right? So for example, he talks about gift. So he says that if a person is if one person A gives a gift to another person B, and the person B then counter gifts or respond back by another gift, or kind of response with by any act, then he says that this is not merely a individual acting in this case. There are certain objective ways organized by field which are internalized by habitus, and that is how this kind of series of actions take place. So he says it is not simply that there is a mechanical reaction by one person and there is a mechanical reaction by the other person to respond back, but there is a systematic way in which the relations are organized. So he is counterposing both the theories of objectivism and subjectivism. That's where you need to make sense of it, because otherwise the later discussion on his concept of structure and shaping of the field, the notion of action and the very idea of practice, it will be very difficult for you. So first be clear about it. He is saying that habitus is a system of receiving things of the world